Alright, this is a comment from a subscriber. Wanted me to react to Exploring the SCP Foundation SCP-3001 Red Reality by the Exploring series. So I'm kind of interested in how this is going to look.
SCP 3001
Mm-hmm.
Red Reality.
What is that symbolism there? It's like the guys try and touch this almost like a matter, almost. Like the easiest way to describe is with Jean, uh, with the Dark Phoenix and Logan.
What does it mean to be truly alone? You can be alone in a room, in a building, on an island, or on the moon, or you can be alone in your own mind. But we all live in a world filled with people.
What is with the philosophy question? Uh, you can be alone in your own mind on an island in a room, but you're in a world filled with people. I guess I understand the question, but why?
SCP 3001, on the other hand, shows us an example of an individual that is truly and utterly alone, which is a unique case of science fiction, and yet it also manages to be surprisingly grounded in reality. SCP 3001 is not a happy story, but it's also an incomplete one, which leaves us with a sense of hope. The bulk of 3001 takes the form of transcribed logs, so I would suggest reading through it all yourself, but I'll try to strike a balance between summarizing and reading them.
Okay.
To put it simply, SCP 3001 is a non-dimension, accessible through the creation of a specific type of flawed wormhole. Basically, it is a space between dimensions that really shouldn't exist, but was discovered by the SCP Foundation accidentally.
So, the easiest way that my brain's trying to rationalize the words that are being used is this is basically the upside down in Stranger Things, where it's the between of one realm and another realm, but it seems like its own thing. That's kind of how my brain's trying to put it. Because you say that it's a warped wormhole.
It is believed to extend infinitely in all directions, but possesses no matter of any kind. The non-dimension also has an extremely low Hume level, which is a
Hume?
degree of measurement used by the Foundation to measure the strength or amount of reality in a given area.
Oh, okay.
In other words, our baseline reality has a given level of Hume that we're accustomed to, but certain factors, such as other dimensions or reality benders, can change that level of Hume as things become more or less real, so to speak. What a very low Hume level means for 3001 is that matter that would be located inside the non-dimension decays at an extremely slow rate, and organisms could still function despite taking damage that would normally kill them, up to a certain point.
So
The downside of this, however, is that
if like a human was in it, it would take longer for them to die than if they were on our realm of reality? Is that what that's saying? Because taking damage that would normally kill them up to a certain point, you, I guess if it was something like really bad, it probably wouldn't matter. But the way he's describing it makes it seem like stuff decays a lot slower.
up to a certain point. The downside of this, however, is that Hume fields tend to even out, and so prolonged exposure to 3001 will cause an organism's Hume level to drop until they begin to disintegrate.
Oh, okay. You don't
3001 was discovered in 2000, while Dr. Robert Scranton and his wife, Dr. Anna Lang, were working on a device that would stabilize reality by manipulating Hume levels. Unexpected seismic activity at the site damaged several experimental reality stabilizers, creating one of those specific wormholes, which proceeded to pull Robert into the non-dimension before closing. We are then presented with a large number of logs, transcribed from audio recordings made by Robert. For the first 8 days of Robert being inside 3001, he attempts to navigate the non-dimension to find a way out while going through periods of panic, confusion, and anger. He eventually makes his way over to a control panel that had gone through the wormhole with him, although he doesn't realize at first that it is actively recording. He makes several recordings, presumably for his own benefit, as he states his name and date of birth, mentions his favorite color is blue, and his favorite song is Living on a Prayer, and that he loves his wife.
Oh,
Anna.
that's cute right there.
Before long, he notices a flashing light on the control panel, and realizes that the machine is working and recording. He panics and states his name again, asking if anyone can hear him, saying he doesn't know where he is. He's not sure at all how the machine is working, but he's pretty sure that no one can hear him. He also notes how hungry and thirsty he is, saying that he should have died of dehydration by now, an effect of the low Hume level, although it will take Robert some time to realize this. After fiddling with the machine,
Yeah, so I was somewhat right there of it just takes a longer time for somebody to die of natural means there. Meaning if like somebody was severely ill, you could probably throw them in that dimension and it'll take a longer time for them to die. That way that if like there was a chance of you possibly saving them, you probably could. But it also said that the longer you're in there, the more like you'll begin to disintegrate. So in a way, it's basically instead of taking the sword, you're taking being beat up by a slap. It's the you're still going to get hurt. You're just deciding which is more important. You dying slower, or quicker.
some more, he locates the controls, causing the machine to speak, telling him he's been here for 2 weeks, 3 days, 7 hours, and 58 minutes.
Jesus.
Another week goes by, with Robert realizing now that it doesn't seem like he'll die here due to hunger or thirst, and he wonders if by some miracle he'll find his way out of here. 5 weeks go by with Robert barely recording anything, but he comes back and says that he's been trying to learn about this place he's in, referring to it as his prison and his kingdom. He manages to maintain his professionalism, recording a log saying that he's going to document this place as an SCP to maybe help someone else in the future that gets stuck in here. A few days later, he records a log as if it were a standard SCP document about the non-dimension, but we can see the cracks in his mental state beginning to show. The only light source in the entire non-dimension is a small red light on the control panel, so he's been using that as a marker for his explorations. He also notes that he's felt an itch or a tingle across his head recently, but only if he concentrates on it. He next realizes that although he's thought he's been walking on flat ground this whole time, there really shouldn't be anything to walk on in this place, and now he notes that it's felt more like he's been swimming through something that's been applying pressure, like a thick black gel. He now realizes that by concentrating, he can actually move vertically as well as horizontally, again using the red light as his reference point, or as he calls it, Little Red.
Okay, so in reality, the red the red reality was instead of it being a red actual dimension, it's talking about the light on the control panel. And that the entirety of it is just black. That is it. He says that if he concentrates, there's an itch. I wonder if the disintegration has already started on him, and that's what he's feeling. It's slowly eating away.
He understands a bit more about the location he's in now, knowing that it was caused by a problem with the reality stabilizer. He does some math, and apparently figures out how low the Hume level of this non-dimension is, but is not sure of the effects of that, as he's mostly worked with above average Hume levels. At this point, he really begins talking to the red light directly, as if it were a person. He seems to be speaking to it and imagines responses coming back from it, but this is pretty understandable given the situation.
Yeah.
Robert's scientific mind allows him to keep focus, however, as he continues to perform calculations to help him understand 3001. He learns that the reality stabilizer that sent him and the control panel here cranked up their Hume levels to a few times normal level, meaning that it will take longer for them to equalize with 3001 and disintegrate. By his calculations, he has about 3 years or so before he's gone, and he believes he'll have something figured out by then. The tingling feeling he's had is his Hume level starting to diffuse. Robert's next log reads, "Hey Red, I'm gonna have to go for a bit. I want to test something, and you can't come with me. I'm sorry. No, Red, I'm really, really sorry. I want you to come, I do, but if we're together, the diffusion will increase faster. We both need as much time as possible. I need to figure this place out more, and you need to make sure you keep all that info in your head. Red, come on. You'll be fine, Red. I know you will. You're tough. A lot tougher than me. It'll only be for a bit, Red, but I need to see if I can find a way to keep us alive a bit longer. Maybe even get us out of here. If I can contain enough field, I can maybe even get us out. No, I'm not sure, but I need to find out. Red, we're talking about possibly escaping, okay? Yeah, it's a gap. A gap should have an end, like the walls of a canyon, understand? I need to find a wall, and then I can... I'm sorry, Red. I hope we're still friends when I come back."
He has quite literally lost his mind at this point. It's to a point that it is almost a stranded situation. What was his name? Tom Hanks with Wilson. That is what we have going on here. And what's even weirder is there's still a little bit of scientific mind left in him with the idea of, I can probably find a way out if I go and explore, but do it a certain way. And how he is able to compare stuff still and try to find a way out. So there's still parts of him left. However, I now have a concern due to the single fact that he hasn't eaten or drinking anything in a while. I think as soon as if he's able to find a way out, the second he gets out, he is just going to immediately be dead. That is my only thought process. Is there's no way that he will be able to live as soon as he gets someplace that is on a normal Hume level. It is just going to immediately just kill him. Which I really hope that doesn't happen if he does find a way out.
I'm going now. I'll see you soon. The control panel didn't record anything for nearly 4 full months, when suddenly Robert returned, far less hopeful than when he left. He says that this place is hell, and it goes on forever.
Jesus.
He traveled in a single direction for 2 months before turning around. He then wonders if he let himself fall down long enough, would he eventually hit a bottom? More than 4 months go by before Robert returns again, saying there is no bottom either. This is the point where Robert's mental state really begins to deteriorate, as he asks Red if he's ever been married, or had kids, begging Red to talk to him. He suddenly realizes that his picture of Anna is fading due to the Hume levels, and he panics, begging Anna not to go, and asking Red to go get help. Robert loses coherency at this point, as months go by with him only sobbing, screaming, and mumbling. It is
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so this SCP is simply just torture in its own right. You're just constantly in a tortured loop of you're going to forget everybody, you're not going to be able to do anything, you're not able to escape. If he walked 2 months strictly in one direction and didn't touch anything, how big is this reality?
has now been roughly 2 years and 9 months since Robert entered SCP-3001.
2 years. Jesus. Almost
Robert
3.
finally manages to return and make another recording, although his voice is now distorted due to both his own and the control panel's Hume levels dropping. He says that he can't feel his legs anymore, and he's not even sure if he's real anymore, but he knows he doesn't want to die yet. He says he went in a straight diagonal line for 6 months, and fell down for 8 months, but still found no end. He tells Red that he and Anna were planning to name their kid Lucy. His hand begins to break apart, resembling a spider web, but he still retains his knowledge of science, continuing to do calculations on 3001. Unfortunately, his body is beginning to seriously disintegrate, as he claims his hands are moving through each other, and he pulls his thumb off.
Oh.
He says he can go through himself, feeling both warm and cold, and also loses a kidney, but pleads to let him keep just his heart. 5 years have passed now, with Robert and the control panel still somehow held together, but finally the red light begins to fade. 9 months go by, and Red seems to make a return. Robert attempted to kill himself over 220 times, but none of them worked.
Jesus Christ.
He can't see his body due to the darkness, but speculates that he at least has 1 foot left, a few leg muscles, maybe a lung, and a heart. He claims that this non-dimension is now getting smaller, as there now seems to be a visible border that is getting brighter. The light from this border allows Robert to see himself, and he says there's so much gone, although the control panel seems to be far more solid than him. Robert claims that touching the panel hurts like hell, but he's surprisingly lucid now. He comes to a realization about the collapsing border, which is acting more like waves, and also begins to understand what we already know about 3001 being a non-dimension between 2 realities, saying that it's a dead end. Robert says that these waves are from a parallel reality, and they're pushing on him and Red, gradually creating a new wormhole.
I was about to say, the only way this can get even more messed up is if somehow the reality's alive and that's its way of eating him. Because what do you mean he's just able to pull off his thumb? And why is he more lucid now than earlier when he was losing his mind talking to Red? Why is he just now becoming more lucid? Because if he's more lucid now, that would mean that the effects of... Well, I guess that would actually make sense. The effects of the dimension are slowly wearing off as the reality is slowly closing itself, and as it says here, creating a new wormhole, which I guess in a way would also mean it's about to bring in somebody else.
The only problem is, he's not sure what will happen when that wormhole is created. Robert's body continues to break down as blood leaks from him, and he finds himself constantly vomiting, despite not having eaten anything for years, nor having a stomach to hold anything. He says that he's not ready to go back yet, as he's pretty much a floating pile of organs kept functional by 3001. He has to stay away from the waves to prevent him from going through a wormhole and dying, but unfortunately the control panel will eventually go through. Robert says that he has 5 more years in 3001 during which he will slowly restabilize, giving him 5 years to figure out how to get out. But he'll have to stay in here without his metal companion.
Jesus.
A humming pulse begins growing louder in the background, and Robert breaks down in hysterics again, becoming almost incomprehensible as he begs both Red and Anna for support, wanting to hold her hand and telling her he lost his ring. 5 years, 11 months, and 21 days after an incident sent Dr. Robert Scranton into a non-dimension, the stabilizer control panel, thought lost, suddenly reappeared in the testing facility. Dr. Anna Lang, overseeing the testing, went to investigate the panel, horrified at finding it covered in blood, bile, viscera, and hair, identifying the hair color as belonging to Robert.
Oh, Jesus.
A hand fell off of the panel, along with a wedding ring, and Anna accessed the first audio log, hearing her husband's voice for the first time in nearly 6 years.
Oh, she probably broke down.
She proceeds to faint from shock.
Yep.
This is where the story of SCP-3001 leaves off, ultimately unfinished and leaving Robert's final fate to your imagination. According to the author, although much of Robert went back to our reality along with the control panel, there is still some of him in 3001, and it's quite possible he's still functional. Will he find a way to eventually return to reality and reunite with his wife? Or will he slowly go completely insane and disintegrate entirely? Those aren't the only options, as some tales have shown, but I think it's good a story like this is left so open to the reader. The concept of being isolated from all human contact is certainly not a new one in fiction, but it's rarely taken to this degree. Not only was Robert left stranded with only a machine to talk to, he was left in near total darkness and had no way of ending his life. Chances are we've all felt emotions of loneliness and isolation at one point or another.
Yep.
But at least we're not stuck in the red reality.
Jesus. You know what? Before the video even finishes, I'm going to hit like, I'm going to come over here, hit subscribe, because that is powerful. Not yet, Red. Please. I know you want to go. I'm not ready yet. I'm not. I love you, Red. I love you, Anna. Anna. Loud clank banging her followed by splatter noises. Someone strikes the control panel once again. 5 years, 11 months, 21 days. Jesus. And that's probably when it got sent back, when he hit it. Because it said that the hand was on it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. I was not expecting that from the Red Reality. I don't know what I was expecting exactly. Honestly, I was thinking more of a living style, dimension. But that was really good. If I had to give my guess on what happened to the Doctor, I think he probably lost his mind, because the way that it was talking, it doesn't seem like there's any way for him to grow back his organs, be able to put himself back together, unless it's something from like the outside going into it. More like his wife is able to make a stabilizer in a way and then force it through the wormhole and then get it to him. But y'all tell me down below, what is it that y'all think happened? Y'all tell me, do y'all think the Doctor is able to come back and see his wife? Do y'all think it's over for him? And my name's been Kill Bear. I hope y'all enjoyed. I certainly did. If y'all look in the description, you'll be able to go to his channel, hit like, subscribe, share his video around. Wherever here at mine, please like, subscribe, share my video around, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye!